What's changing April 1st is the 1500 form, okay? And all the stuff we went through about the 50-10 changes and all the different stuff, this is what it looks like. This is what's changed. And I'm going to go through 11 points here about where the form changes. Some of them are useful to us, some of them aren't. I'll flip through the ones that way you can see them that are not, and we'll talk about the ones that are really important, and then we'll be able to connect back to the old form to the new form based on the number of diagnosis codes, and you'll see why in a second. Okay, so the big changes on this form that happened 2 years ago in February when they had the new form, this 50-10 form, they're changing it to match the electronic format of 50-10 into an ICD-10 process. Okay, they're also adding space for 8 more diagnosis codes in box 21. Okay, now as of today, they will accept the form. Health plans and clearinghouses must be able to accept the form. That's as of today. And by April 1st, write this down, April 1st, you need to start using the new form, okay? So if your EMR software or your clearinghouse software is allowing you to send ICD-10 or 50-10 stuff out today, you're probably using the correct form. If you're sending paper, get rid of all your old ones as of April 1st, you're going to have to use this new one, okay? Now you can use the new one now, but as of April 1st, the old paper forms are going to be retired. So let's go through them line by line so we can see them. First one is this. Silly stuff for us, means nothing to us. The 1500 symbol has been replaced with a scannable QR code at number 1. You'll see this is really silly stuff, not really important to us. Number 2, minor changes to wording and the payer ID number requirements in that blue section at the top of the form. Once again, not really important, but I want you to know it's there. Number 3, change to reserve for NCC or NUCC use, moving patient status out of there so it'll be used for something in the future. No big deal to us. And then number 4, reserve for NUCC use again. They removed the employer's name or school name, so you don't need to put that in there anymore. That's been removed from the form. It'll be used for future use, no big deal. And then they changed to claim codes. Okay, so claim codes would go in there, number 5. So that's going to be designated by NUCC in the future. No big deal. Don't worry about it. And then number 11B, okay, change to other claim ID. Once again, it's going to be that information is going to be designated at some point in time when the NUCC gets into appointing all this stuff. So all these things here don't mean very much to us. No big deal. The one that's important we're going to get to now, and that's box 14. Okay, change number 7. Okay. They changed out the layout of the form of the box itself. It says date of current illness, injury, pregnancy, LMP, month, date, and year. Okay. Now remember, box 14 is going to be in Major Med and PI is going to be, or sorry, in Major Med you probably won't use this. In PI, it's the date of injury. In Medicare, it's the date they came in for services on the beginning of their care plan for that particular injury. The initial date of treatment for that injury. So remember, don't forget that's what box 14 is for. There's some minor changes there, okay? Very simple stuff, nothing's going to change what we're doing, okay? But that's just part 1 of box 14. The next one is another date, okay? If the patient had same or similar, that's now taken off, all right? That's box 14, part 2. That's been removed, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. So you had to put that in the past. That's been removed off the form, no big deal. Okay? Now, box 17, they added a field to report a qualifier to identify which provider is being reported. So this is where you would put your name if you're the provider or the referring provider in this box. That's where your information would go. Okay? And the big one is going to be this one. This is where a couple changes have been made in the claim form. Excuse me. This is where a couple changes have been made in the claim form, where they've added 8 additional lines. Now, if we go back to where we started, I asked the question at the very beginning, how many diagnosis codes do we need in our notes to bill a 98942? The answer in the past, is when I've taught this in seminars, has always been the answer is 4, because there's only 4 lines. Now, that's changed, because what they're going to be able to do now is report up to 12 diagnosis codes. But the interesting part is, what we never talked about was how many did you need in your documentation in order to bill a 98942. And the answer to that question is, if we're going to bill a 98942, we're going to need a minimum of 10 diagnosis codes. You're going to need a subluxation code for 9894, for cervical region, thoracic region, lumbar, pelvis, and sacrum. You need a subluxation code for all of them. Now, I understand you're going to tell me, hey, wait a minute, but Florida doesn't take subluxation codes. Remember, there's a difference between documentation and billing. When you bill, what you're supposed to do is take the codes out of what you've created as far as documentation of examining and reviewing the patient. In this situation here, what we're talking about is we've created a minimum of 10 codes, because you're going to need a symptom for each code, for each region. So you'd have a cervical subluxation, a cervical symptom, a thoracic subluxation, thoracic symptom, lumbar, and so on and so on. Now, the question that you're going to have is, well, how do I pick them? Well, the good news is, in the seminar in March, when we're in Fort Lauderdale, I'm going to go through all this stuff on how to be able to pick them and go through them. So if you want more information on that, I don't have the time now, we'll go through that there. So with these codes, you're going to be able to put in up to 12. And in some cases, you may put 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, depending on who the carrier is. And then if you're listening to this and you're not in Florida, obviously you'd use a subluxation symptom, and you may alternate them down the line. If you're in Florida, you would probably just put all symptom codes, one for each region, and then move on. Okay? But that's only the first part of this. So now you'll be able to report them all. Don't forget, and the reason why I said you need that subluxation in your notes is because if you ever go to review, Medicare policy says you must diagnose a subluxation in the notes. How you bill it to the carrier on this 5010 new form, or this 1500 form, doesn't matter at all when it comes to a post-payment review. So understand that's why there's a difference between documentation versus billing, okay? So the next change is going to be this, and that's going to be this little area right over here. I'm going to use my little pen over here to circle it just so you can see it. This area right here is now the new thing you need to look at. Okay, in the top right-hand corner of box 21, it says ICD indicator. Okay, up until October 1st, you can still use this form with ICD-9. If you use it with ICD-9, you're going to have to put the number 9 in that box. Okay, so between now and October 1st, you will use the number 9 in that box. After October 1st, what you will do is you will put a 0 once you start using ICD-10. That's how the carrier is going to know which codes you use to explain what the diagnosis was on the claim form between April 1st and October 1st. Okay? So that's the claim form. That's how it all fits with everything that's going on now with ICD-10 and ICD-9. Don't forget your important dates. April 1st to start using this paper form, and then October 1st to start reporting ICD-10. And between now and October 1st, you should put a number 9 in this box right here like we talked about. And after October 1st, what you will do is you will use a 0 to say you're using ICD-10. So those are the big issues now. All the other stuff is kind of, cosmetic. This is the big thing with the new forms, just so you know how it all fits with ICD-10, okay? And at the bottom, the balance due has been removed from the form, no big deal. So of all the stuff that's going on there, the important change is going to be the box 21 change. I get it. I know you're sitting there, like we talked about earlier, part of you wants to do well, a part of you, wants to go out and do something else. But, I know part of you saying, hey, knocking aside the head, don't be silly. You should do it right. Let's just pay attention and get it done. And then the other half of you sitting there going, forget this, let's go open a Dairy Queen. I don't want to do this anymore. Okay? I get that. Okay? And I know the reason why you say that is because in the past, yes, you want to do it right, but on the flip side, part of you has said, hey, you know what? I've been promised all this information before, and it didn't work, and I'm uncertain on what to do. I'm skeptical of getting help, and I'm just going to put it off. This is one time we are not going to be able to put this off. So what I want to do is I want you to do me a favor. want you to relax. Just relax. And the reason why I say relax is because what I want you to do is I want you to understand that that a lot of the people I've worked with have been freaking out. They're freaking out going, I don't have this stuff. What am I going to do? I'm busy seeing patients now. And I get it. But what I want to do is I wanted to give you a reason to relax because somebody's done the work for you. You see, we've got a solution for you. If you have any of these EMR systems, whether it's Future Health, Platinum, Genesis, Eclipse, Easy Notes, ChiroTouch, Atlas, Chiro1000, Smart Cloud, Billing Precision, Silk One, Malpractice, any of these systems here, we've customized these systems and we already have all the stuff ready to be able to put it in for ICD-10. So this is what I want to offer you. If you like today, if you like the information, I know you're sitting there going, well, I don't know if I really want to invest in this. I want you to know, I get it. What I want you to do is I want you to look down and really ask yourself, are you committed to practicing after October 1st? If you are, I have a solution. If you'd like to see how our macros can help you go faster and be more compliant and how we can customize them in your office, just email me and say you'd like to look at it. info@customchirosolutions.com. Email me there. I'll get right back to you. And as an added bonus, not only will we do that, I'll send you an email where you can download today's notes with the codes in them and everything else. In addition, Medicare Today released information on how to test your ICD-10 claims. And if you email me today, I'll put it up so you guys can go ahead and download it so you can get this information. It is going to be important for you to be able to test these ICD-10 claims. Please, I'm begging you, please do not wait until October 1st to send your first ICD-10 claim. What I've read before in the last couple weeks has been this, and this is scary. If you're not ready by August 1st to do ICD-10, the business management companies that I've been looking at that manage hospitals and large groups are saying you should have between 3 to 6 months of overhead in your bank account in order to be able to risk carriers not being able to handle ICD-10 or your clearinghouse not being able to submit the claims. So you have a choice. Start testing right away, the way the government says to, or have 4 to 6 months, 3 to 6 months of overhead in the bank just in case your claims don't go through. Personally, I'd rather not have to spend my money on overhead because my claims didn't go through. So I figured if you want the information, email me, I'll send it to you, and that way you can have all the information you want.